Imagine finally achieving Roblox success, having thousands of players playing your game, but then one day, you lose it all and vanish from the platform. Today, we'll be looking into 6 Roblox devs who lost everything. Let's start with Welcome to the Town of Robloxia, a game you might recognize but might not know the crazy story of. This game got almost 40 million visits before being fully deleted from the platform, but it wasn't easy for the owner, One Dev 2. It was a long journey of failure after failure. He tried a lot before finally achieving success. His first game was a jail obby in 2008, which found some success, but due to it being made with mainly free models and it being kinda overcomplicated, it got mass disliked. He followed up with the more polished version 2 years later, and that too got some hate. In 2010 he launched a bunch of games, game after game after game, hoping that one would finally stick. He did have one game do decent, but he didn't reach Roblox stardom just yet. In the end, he didn't have much to show for his efforts, but after releasing 7 games in 2010, he noticed the player count of one of them doing something he'd never seen before. He finally had a game take off. That being Welcome to the Town of Robloxia. Welcome to the Town of Robloxia was a roleplay game made by One Dev 2 in 2010, sort of a pioneer to current roleplay games, and at the time it was one of the fastest growing Roblox games. Around a year after launch, it would hit 1 million visits, then hit 3 million just 2 months later. The game was blowing up, eventually hitting over 30 million visits. One Dev 2 work was finally paying off, and he was now in a position he could have only dreamed of when he first started creating games. But then one day, everything stopped, all because of the 2012 Roblox April Fool's hacking incident. In 2012, Roblox was hacked, like actually hacked. There was a breach of the admin panel and the hackers were using it to their advantage. They gave it a bunch of expensive items, uploaded unreleased items, uploaded this iconic face, messed with the forums at the time, and much more. And what does Welcome to the Town of Robloxia have to do with all this? Well, during this time, the creator, One Dev 2, apparently was controversially given or bought a hack for 2 million Robux. Admins thought it wasn't legit, so they terminated his account, leaving his game defenseless. A famous game stealer at the time, Jared Valdez 4, saw this as his opportunity and stole assets of the game and essentially remade it. And this remade version hit the front page, causing the original game to be reset, likely because he thought that was now a fake. Eventually, Roblox realized he took down the wrong game, and a few weeks later the game was back but set to uncopylocked. Uncopylocked means that now anyone can download the entire game and do whatever they want with it. So now, hundreds of fakes are being uploaded, a lot of which did well and also got millions of visits. It was stolen and re-uploaded so many times that most people don't even know the original and is becoming forgotten. And eventually, for some reason, the game was fully taken down and put under review. His work had all gone to waste. He was living his worst nightmare, all because of one hack. One Dev 2 came back on a new account, One Dev 3, and tried re-uploading the game, but with no luck. There were so many fakes to this point that people were either bored of the game or playing other versions of it. He did have another successful game, Robloxity, however, the game never reached the same heights as Town of Robloxia. Now he's kinda just gone from the platform. His account hasn't been active for years and his bio just says, all grown up, sad face. A sad ending, but if you thought that was bad, wait till you hear about this next game. Because we're talking about Ragdoll Engine, a game that got 1.6 billion visits before being fully deleted from the platform. The creator Mr. Bean Guy launched it in 2018, and nothing really happened. The game didn't take off. So that year he also launched a fighting game, which also didn't do that well. And for almost a year, these were his only 2 projects, and unfortunately, the games were kinda dead. He had nothing to show for his work so far. However, entering 2019, everything would change, because the game started to go viral on TikTok, and out of nowhere, this would catapult his game into one of the largest games, going from a few thousand players to 10,000, 20,000. Mr. Bean Guy was on top of the world, and wanted to keep his momentum going, so he didn't stop there. He launched 2 other games in 2019, both sitting at over 50 million visits. And then after almost 3 years, Ragdoll Engine hit 1 billion visits in 2021. His work was finally paying off, but with this popularity came new challenges. And the biggest one for Mr. Bean Guy was hackers. In mid-2021, the game was fully hacked, and hackers removed the base play of the game, making it unplayable. Following this incident, the game was set to private. Mr. Bean Guy explained at the time that the game was going to get a big update, however, it never came. And for the remainder of the year, the game was private. His momentum was gone, and he was losing the work he spent years chasing. Around a year later, he was messing with the name and thumbnail of the game and made it uncopylocked, once again meaning anyone could just steal it now. Then he finally retitled it to Dumb Ragdoll Game and set it to private, and due to this and the fact that it was uncopylocked, a bunch of the replica games blew up instead. But the story doesn't end here, because the owner also got his account terminated. The exact reason is unknown, but something really fishy is going on. In December 2023, something insane happened. A Roblox Dominus sold for 200 million Robux, as well as a Shaggy for 25 million Robux, the single biggest legit sale of all time. Who was behind this? Mr. Bean Guy. Literal minutes later, he goes ahead and buys another 282 million Robux worth of items. He could have cashed out this amount of Robux for $1.7 million. This all led to his account being terminated. All that work, now gone. No one knows what happens, but the popular theory is that he sold these expensive items for real money, which is against the rules. Why didn't he just exchange the Robux for real money like every other developer? No one knows. but the assumption is for some reason he wasn't allowed, so he went down this route instead. And now, this game sits here private with 1.6 billion visits, all his other successful games private as well. all along with the Terminator creator. He seemingly had everything, and now, nothing. But surprisingly, this isn't the only game with over 1 billion visits to be deleted. Because our next game is Weightlifting Simulator 3, a Roblox game that got just over 1 billion visits before being deleted. The creator behind this game was Avectis, a very popular Roblox developer. Avectis had a bunch of games. One of his first successful ones was Saber Wars, launched in 2016. It did pretty well for his time, getting 3 million visits. But he didn't stop there. This game only showed Avectis two things. 1. Roblox games make pretty good money, and 2. He knows what he's doing. So next year, he launched 3 more games. All of them did well, getting a combined over 40 million visits. But he was just getting started, because that year he also launched Weightlifting Simulator 2, which got almost 80 million visits. Avectis was unstoppable, constantly launching games and making a ton of money, and despite all this, 2018 would end up being even crazier. His next game was Speed Simulator 2, which got over 100 million visits. And then he created Weightlifting Simulator 3, which also found success, due to his other games and also the fact that Weightlifting Simulator 2 did well. It seemed like whatever he touched turned to gold because everything he was doing was going viral. Avectis had everything going for him. All these games made him one of the biggest and richest creators, but Avectis wasn't honest. There's a reason he was able to launch this many games, and his greed would soon cause Empire of Games to fall. Weightlifting Simulator 2 was stolen from another developer, Axwell. Speed Simulator 2 was also partially stolen. On top of all this, he apparently also sold Robux on third-party sites as well as scamming players and refusing to pay people who help work on his games. So in 2019, everything came crumbling down. His account was terminated, likely due to that whole Roblox situation, which first caused Speed Simulator 2 to get privated due to a Roblox error. Then, a year later, Weightlifting Simulator 3 was deleted, probably due to him scamming other devs. It was eventually recovered but then reset to the default place, so the game is shit here basically unplayable. And with his account now terminated, he couldn't fix any of this. Yet despite all this, the story is just getting started for Avectis, because he made a lot of enemies. In 2021, the game and the game files for Weightlifting Simulator 3 were leaked and stolen from Avectis by other developers, and they used them to re-upload and remake the game. Avectis now wanted revenge on these developers, so he filed several DMCA copyright claims against these devs, which didn't stop them. They kept re-uploading the game. So he filed a lawsuit against Roblox and the devs, demanding the identity of these devs. In this lawsuit, Avectis, aka Christopher Boomer, claims the devs cloned his games and used his artwork to gain millions of visits. And he wanted the information of about 10 Roblox devs, because besides their Roblox presence, who they are in real life is unknown, and he wanted it fast. He issued Roblox to give him the information in only 10 days. Did Roblox give it to him? No. He stated the information he asked for wasn't even related to copyright at that point, because they wanted all their IP addresses, phone numbers, and more. Roblox also stated that a lot of this information they can't even obtain. And that was the end to Avectis' story. Controversy, lawsuits, and in the end, his entire Roblox account and games being terminated. But he wasn't done. Avectis could no longer be on the platform, but that doesn't mean he still can't make games. He eventually came back on another account called Robloxian, where he would continue to make games. For example, Most of Legends is clearly inspired by his past weightlifting games. Despite him being a controversial creator, Avectis did have a tendency to make viral games, and this time it's no different. A lot of his new games blew up, now having a combined over 4 billion visits across his games. So he lost everything and came back. Just like our next game, A Hero's Destiny. A Roblox game that got 54 million visits before being fully deleted. By the way, if you made it this far, please subscribe. Anyways, the game was created by Sean21307. And at face value, it seems like Sean just got a viral game out of nowhere. But there's a lot more to this. I actually ended up speaking to him, and here's how we ended up with A Hero's Destiny. For the first few years, Sean was just messing around with Roblox Studio, doing some random projects and commissions, not anything too serious. But then one day, he and his friends decided to work on a game together, One Punch Man Awakening, and the game would find success. However, this could have been Sean's long-awaited breakthrough, but it wouldn't last for long. Due to the drama between Sean and his friend, they broke the partnership and he was no longer a part of the game. But Sean didn't stop there. With his new knowledge working on that game, he made his own One Punch Man inspired game called One Punch Man Destiny. This game formed a community fairly quickly since it was based off the anime One Punch Man, and it actually ended up being more successful than One Punch Man Awakening. Sean had done it. He lost his first game but recovered. Now he finally had something to show for himself, but even this time he couldn't celebrate for too long, because unfortunately he would lose it all again. Out of nowhere one day, the game was fully deleted, and Sean didn't get any heads up about this. He logged onto the Roblox platform one day, and there it was. His game was gone. Out of nowhere, it was deleted off the platform. Sean quickly made a post on the Roblox dev forum about this titled, "Game deleted without warning or reason." He speculated it was due to copyright, but still hoped he could get access back and change the game. Unfortunately, his speculation was true. He got his answer, and the company behind the original anime, Bandai Namco, filed a DMCA copyright request against his game. And the worst part, he wasn't allowed to restore the game. Everything was fully gone. 54 million visits down the drain. Loss after loss. What was next? Sean still refused to give up. He was always so close to success and then loses it, so he knew it was possible. A year later he relaunched a game, changing the name from One Punch Man Destiny to A Hero's Destiny, and presumably changing it up to avoid copyright again. And it worked. The game sits at almost 155 million visits. Sean lost everything time and time again, but fought back and finally found success. Which if you thought that was bad, wait till you hear about the next game. Because it's Anime Adventures, a Roblox game that got almost 2 billion visits before being fully deleted off the platform. This was a game based on the anime My Hero Academia made by Gomu. Now Gomu has a weird history because there isn't any. Gomu joined Roblox in 2021, and a few months later launched Anime Adventures. We can only assume this is an alt account he made to launch the game. And it was doing super well, which after 1 year was constantly averaging 40 to 50,000 players every day, and reaching almost 2 billion visits just after 2 years of being out. There it was, the game was viral and was only on track to grow bigger. What could possibly go wrong? Well, one day, the game shut down. Fans were hoping this was just a mistake or maybe preparation for an update, but the game never came back. What happened? Well, during this time, the official My Hero Academia launched their own Roblox game, and with that, he sent copyright strikes to other My Hero Academia games. And like we heard with the last situation, the owner probably wasn't able to access the game again, leaving 2 billion visits down the drain. And worst of all, Gomu couldn't do anything about it. He had to accept that the game would never come back. And now, months later, we still haven't received much of an update. Nothing on his profile, nothing on his group, and fans are getting really desperate. The last thing he said was around the time the game got deleted. They are worried about further legal trouble, but they are looking into the possibility of revamping the game. Unfortunately, there's not much beyond that, and with the scare of legal trouble, these devs lost their game and potential motivation for another. And this isn't the only Roblox game to be sued and shut down. Because next we have Ronald. This game got almost 150 million visits before being fully deleted off the platform. It was a game similar to Piggy, in which instead of a pig, a clown chases you. It was released around the time when Piggy was in his peak, so this game also found success. But it took a lot for the owner, Dan Lua, to get to this point. He's made a lot of games. He's published over 20 in his time on Roblox. For the most part, the games were random and didn't find much success, but in 2018, he launched Split, which was his first taste of a viral Roblox game. It got 350,000 visits, and this showed the potential his games had. However, over the next few years, he kept launching random games, none of which found the same success. It looked like his time as a developer was coming to an end. But then in 2020, he launched Ronald, a game that would change everything. Because the game blew up, and for the next 3 years the game would do well, averaging hundreds of thousands of players active. He had finally done it. After countless attempts and failure over and over again, he finally had a viral Roblox game. But he wouldn't have it for too long. On September 4th, 2023, the game shut down. It's unclear what fully happened, since the devs didn't really say much following the deletion. However, it is believed they also received a DMCA copyright takedown, and this time from McDonald's. The clown in the game, Ronald, is based off a real-life clown used by McDonald's called Ronald McDonald. You can even see they use the same name. And because of that, many or two McDonald's wanted this game taken down, especially after seeing how successful it was. And we have seen successful McDonald's themed games be shut down pretty often on Roblox. The popular escape McDonald's hobby with over 200 million visits got randomly deleted, and so did another popular hobby. In general, a lot of Roblox games get taken down for crazy reasons, being sued, the devs breaking the rules, and more. And if you enjoyed, click here to watch some more crazy Roblox stories. I'll see you in the next one.